77% of people undergo the physical symptoms of stress on a daily basis, according to the American Psychological Association. Stress is prevalent in the lives of everyone who pushes themselves or undergoes changes of any kind. But it is important to learn how to deal with stress because its effects can be dangerous. Today, I will share with you the research I have done to see how stress not only affects the mind, but the entire body. I will start with sharing some stress research, then I will share how stress affects the entire body and can be dangerous. Let's begin with some stress research. Hans Selye discovered that there are 3 stages to stress: alarm, resistance or adaptation, and exhaustion. Alarm is what many of us have heard as fight or flight. Resistance or adaptation is when the body mobilizes itself and its resources so it can continue to fight or flight. Exhaustion is when stress continues and the body is not able to adapt. There were also other studies on stress. It was fascinating to scientists that what was thought as an emotion can affect the entire body. In 1970, Thomas Holmes and Richard Rahe surveyed 5,000 medical patients. They found small but consistent numbers between the number of stressful events and how often they got sick. They measured the immensity of the stress by how much the event changed the person's life. Richard Lazarus differed from Holmes and Rahe. He thought that stress cannot be measured by an event that occurs, but a specific person's appraisal of the event. Appraisal is the process of perceiving or interpreting an event. Like, for example, getting a job is going to be less stressful on me than it is for someone who has a degree and a career. So far, we have learned 3 different studies. Selye discovered the 3 basic steps of stress. Holmes and Rahe discovered that stress can cause illness. And Lazarus says that the immensity of the stress depends on a person's appraisal of the event. As Selye discovered, the last step of stress is exhaustion. To expand on exhaustion, it is dangerous for the body to fall into a stressful routine and become comfortable with it. The more you're stressed, the quicker you get to the exhaustion stage. The longer your body stays in the exhaustion stage, the harder your heart works. It's going to pump faster and get those stress hormones like epinephrine or adrenaline, and this causes your blood vessels to constrict and send more oxygen to your muscles. This is good in an emergency because it lets you fight or flight faster, but it also raises your blood pressure, and as a result, frequent or chronic stress makes your heart work too hard for too long. When blood pressure rises, so do risks of having a stroke or a heart attack. It also causes your muscles to tense up. This is good to protect themselves from injury, but when you're constantly stressed, they don't get to relax often at all. Tense muscles can cause headaches, shoulder pain, back pain, body aches, or could cause people to turn to medication for relief. Stress stimulates the immune system. This is helpful when you're trying to recover from an illness or body injury, but over time, stress hormones will weaken your immune system and reduce your body's response to illness recovery. According to Dr. Shahram Heshmat from Psychology Today, the stressed brain loses the ability to be reflective and becomes automatic. Stressed people are prone to give in to their impulses, such as smoking, drinking, or overeating, instead of finding a healthy way to cope with stress. Normal everyday stress can turn into chronic stress, such as anxiety and insomnia. In conclusion, stress is very prevalent in the lives of everyone who pushes themselves and goes through changes of any kind in their life. But it is important to learn how to deal with stress because its effects can be very dangerous. Today, I have shared with you the research I have done to see how stress not only affects the mind, but the entire body. I have shared some stress researchers and shared how stress affects the body and can be dangerous if you do not learn how to deal with it. I will leave you with an anonymous quote. People are disturbed not by a thing, but by their perception of a thing.